Hello everyone, welcome back to Rosamund's Mandarin Garden. Today we're returning to our grammar series. Starting in this episode, we'll be exploring several special sentence patterns in Mandarin, such as the ba construction, the bei construction, existential sentences, and more. These sentence patterns differ from ordinary subject, verb, object structures, but more importantly, they also reveal some fundamental characteristics of the Chinese mindset. What are those characteristics? We'll uncover them one by one throughout the coming lessons. Today's topic is the ba construction, 把字句, also known in linguistics as the disposal construction. It is one of the most frequently used sentence patterns in daily spoken Chinese. Its structure is subject plus ba plus object plus verb. Let's first look at the original meaning of the word ba. When used as a verb, ba means to hold or grasp something. Here, I'd like to compare four closely related verbs in Chinese. Ba, wo, chi, na. As you can see, all these characters share the hand radical. They all involve the action of holding something with hands, but their nuances and emphasis differ. Ba means to grasp, usually by holding one end or the handles of an object in order to control it. So the emphasis is not simply on holding, but on control. For example, 开车的时候我们要手把方向盘。开车的时候我们要手把方向盘。Here, the purpose of holding it is to control the direction of the vehicle. Next is 握。握 emphasizes closing your fingers tightly around something, squeezing it inside your palm. The emphasis here is on the tight, secure, and firm grip. For example, we can say 握拳、握拳、握笔、握笔、握手、握手。Then we have 持. Like the others, it also means holding or supporting something with the hands, but its emphasis is on maintaining a state or keeping something unchanged. For example, 士兵在边疆持枪站岗。士兵在边疆持枪站岗。The important idea isn't simply holding the rifle, it's maintaining the position over a period of time. This is why many words containing 持 carry the meaning of continuing or maintaining something, like 保持、保持、持续、持续。Compared with the others, 持 sounds much more formal. 拿 is the most common of these four verbs. This simply means to take, to fetch, to pick up, or to carry something. The focus is on obtaining an object and moving it somewhere. 帮我拿本书，帮我拿本书，帮我拿杯水，帮我拿杯水。出国留学的费用太高了，我拿不出那么多钱。出国留学的费用太高了，我拿不出那么多钱。Besides being a verb, you may also remember that in our measure words episode, 把 can also serve as a nominal measure word for objects that have handles or can be held by hand. For example, 一把伞，一把伞，一把刀，一把刀，一把椅子，一把椅子。Now let's return to today's topic, the 把 construction. In this sentence pattern, 把 is no longer used as a verb. Instead, it has been grammaticalized into a preposition without any concrete lexical meaning. It simply introduces the object that will be affected by the action. We can say, 我把房间打扫了，我把房间打扫了，我把饭吃了，我把饭吃了，我把这本书借给你，我把这本书借给你，我把这个项目拿下了，我把这个项目拿下了。他把那个员工辞退了，他把那个员工辞退了。你把你们领导叫过来，你把你们领导叫过来。那个家伙把我打了，那个家伙把我打了。Normally, the object comes after the verb, so this sentence should simply be 我打扫了房间，我打扫了房间，我吃了饭，我吃了饭。我借给你这本书，我借给你这本书。我拿下了这个项目，我拿下了这个项目。他辞退了那个员工，他辞退了那个员工。你叫你们领导过来，你叫你们领导过来。那个家伙打了我，那个家伙打了我。 So what's the difference in meaning between these two patterns? The normal subject-verb-object order simply states a fact. It tells us what happened. The ba construction, however, does something more. It presents the action as a process of handling, dealing with, or bringing about a particular result. That's why linguists often call it the disposal construction. The word disposal may sound a little abstract, so let's make it more concrete. It's about handling an object, arranging or assigning a person, making someone do something, or dealing with someone directly. In our examples, can you see it? The object undergoes some kind of change. That change is the key message of the ba construction. The action doesn't simply happen, it produces the effect on the object. As we just discussed, as a verb, ba means to hold or to control something with your hand, so it's quite sensible that it evolved as a grammatical marker here. 我把房间打扫了. What we're emphasizing isn't simply the act of cleaning. We're emphasizing the result, that the room being clean because of my action. Because the ba construction focuses on the impact on the object, it cannot be used when the object remains unchanged. For instance, 我喜欢蓝色，我喜欢蓝色，我爱你，我爱你，我很想你，我很想你. In all of these sentences, the objects do not undergo any change because my feelings, nothing actually happens to them. So in everyday Mandarin, you rarely hear expressions like 我把蓝色喜欢了，我把蓝色喜欢了，我把你爱了，我把你爱了，我把你想了，我把你想了。In our previous lessons, we have mentioned the differences in how English and Chinese place emphasis. English usually relies on stress and intonation. Mandarin very often relies on word order. Let's look at this example again. 我打扫了房间. This focuses on the action of cleaning itself. If we put the object to the very front of the sentence as a topic, 房间我打扫了, this emphasizes the room, meaning it was the room, not something else, that I cleaned. Now we learn the ba construction, and it follows the same logic. By moving the object before the verb and adding the preposition ba, we're shifting the emphasis to the object being affected. English doesn't have a sentence structure that perfectly mirrors this ba construction. However, there is one construction that captures a very similar idea. Get something done. When you say, I got the room cleaned, you're not emphasizing the action clean itself. Instead, you're emphasizing that the room ended up being cleaned, right? However, the ba construction enjoys much wider range of application than this English counterpart. Furthermore, English has another much more common strategy for highlighting the affected objects, the passive voice. Does Chinese have a passive voice? Yes, the 被 construction, 被子句, which we will discuss next lesson. But its function is far narrower than in English. The vast majority of passive sentences in English sound more natural in Chinese when kept in an active form. For example, the money was spent. In natural Mandarin, we would usually say 钱花光了, 钱花光了, or 他把钱花光了, 他把钱花光了, if we want to mention the person responsible. The car was repaired. In Mandarin, we would say 车修好了, 车修好了, or 我把车修好了, 我把车修好了. Organizing sentences in an active form is a key feature of Chinese. Why? Remember what we discussed before? The information in a Chinese sentence is normally organized according to chronological order or the natural process of human perception. In other words, the sentence unfolds in roughly the same order that the speaker mentally experiences the event. In many cases, the rigid subject-object distinction found in the passive voice doesn't fit naturally with this pattern. In the early stages of Chinese, there wasn't even a distinction between active and passive sentences. The language relies even more heavily on context to indicate who was doing what to whom. For example, in the menses, there's an expression 渐行言听,渐行言听. There is no grammatical marker here to indicate whether it's the agent or the patient. The passive meaning is understood entirely from the context. Over time, Mandarin gradually developed the bei construction, which could be kind of regarded as a passive structure in Chinese. We can say 意见被采纳了,意见被采纳了. However, it functions very differently from the English passive voice. We'll explore those differences in detail next time. That's all for today's lesson. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to study Mandarin and Chinese culture in a more systematic way, you're very welcome to book my one-to-one lessons. You can also download free PDF learning materials from my Ko-fi page. If you enjoyed today's lesson, please give a thumbs up and subscribe. Your support means a lot to me. I'll see you next time. Bye. Bye.